If you are also a true Michael Jackson fan, then this video will blow your mind. Because the truth about the king of pop's death, which still shakes everyone in America today, is about to come before you. Michael's real hardcore fans will watch this video until the very end. And if you truly love Michael, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and write MJ Forever in the comments. Let's get into it! At exactly 2:26 p.m. on June 25, 2009, he was pronounced dead. He was 50 years old and he could never wake up from his final sleep. By the time the paramedics reached his rented Holmby Hills mansion, about an hour had passed since Michael's passing, and during that entire time, the only person present in the room was doing something else instead of saving his life. Michael was just 18 days away from his comeback tour, This Is It. 750,000 tickets had already been sold. Although he was officially pronounced dead at 2:26 p.m. that afternoon, the real story of his death does not begin there. It begins 10 hours and 30 minutes earlier at 4 a.m., when Michael Jackson, lying in his bed, was requesting from his personal physician the only thing that could make him sleep. And this story ends on a blue Costco bag, a cut Ivy bag, and 82 minutes of such silence that no one could ever fully explain. If we look at the hours leading up to his death, it becomes clear how everything fell apart. It all started on the evening of June 24th, just a few hours before the tragedy. Michael was present for the rehearsal of this tour. He had been struggling for several weeks. The director had noticed that on June 19th, which was 6 days earlier, Michael had arrived at the rehearsal trembling, confused, and unable to converse. Ortega rubbed his cold feet, spoon-fed him, covered him with a blanket, and sent him home. That same night, Ortega wrote a brief email to the chief executive of AEG. "I saw Michael today and he frightened me. He looked like a lost child." The next morning, an emergency meeting was called. Michael's personal physician arrived there in anger and told Ortega to stay out of this matter. Michael's health was his responsibility, but the problem was that outside of that room, no one knew what the reality was. Michael was not paying Murray's salary. AEG was paying him $150,000 monthly, the very same company that had bound Michael to a 50-show contract, even though he himself did not want it. Initially, only 10 shows were planned. Michael had told his mother over the phone, "Mom, I don't think I can do this. I cannot handle 50 shows." But by then it was too late. AEG had already spent $20 to $30 million on this project, and Michael truly had no other option. Therefore, the company had given Murray only one job: to get Michael to the stage at any cost. And one thing that most people do not know is that the story of Michael's dependence on propofol did not start with AEG. Its roots go back to 1984, when during the shooting of a Pepsi commercial, during the pyrotechnics, special effects of fireworks, a fire suddenly broke out and his hair caught fire, resulting in second and third degree burns on his scalp. At that time, his age was only 25 years, and he was at the peak of his career. The painkillers given to him during recovery, in reality, could never be completely separated from his life. In the mid-1990s, during the History World Tour, a German anesthesiologist started giving him propofol every night. And this is the point where the story takes a dark turn. Propofol is not a sleep medication. It is a powerful, hospital-use anesthetic used to make patients unconscious before surgery. Michael used to call it milk because of its white color. In April 2009, just 2 months before his passing, Michael asked a nurse practitioner for milk. She refused and directly warned him, "What if you never wake up again?" Michael replied, "I'll be fine. I just need someone to monitor me with instruments while I sleep." And according to her, these were the exact words Michael used. A month later, AEG hired Murray. Between April and June 2009, Murray ordered 225 vials of propofol from a Las Vegas pharmacy, which was equivalent to nearly 4 gallons of surgical anesthetic. All these shipments were delivered to his girlfriend's apartment located in Santa Monica. But Murray's strangest decisions were not the ones he made before Michael's death. The real questions are tied to those 82 minutes that passed afterward. On the night of June 24th, something unexpected happened. After several weeks of weak and inconsistent rehearsals, Michael appeared on stage with full energy. He completed the rehearsals for Thriller and Earth Song with absolute enthusiasm. At 12:30 a.m., he departed from the Staples Center with a smile. At the main gate of his rented mansion, he stopped briefly to wave his hand at a few fans, then went inside. Dr. Conrad Murray was already upstairs waiting for him. The bedroom located at 100 North Carrollwood Drive did not look like a hospital. There, an IV stand, saline drip, pill bottles, medicine vials, syringes, and oxygen tanks were scattered on tables, shelves, and the floor. But there was no pulse oximeter present, nor a blood pressure monitor, and no ECG machine that could have warned Murray that Michael's breathing was slowing down or his heart had stopped. And this is the point where the real countdown begins. By 4 a.m., Michael had been awake for several hours. According to forensic evidence, Murray administered various sedatives throughout the night, but Michael could not sleep even for a single minute. He was repeatedly asking for only one thing: milk, meaning propofol. "Dr. Conrad, I must sleep. I have my rehearsals. I have to get ready for the England show." Murray had been trying to wean Michael off of milk, meaning propofol, for quite some time. He had reduced the nightly dose from 50 mg to 25 mg, and intended not to give this medication at all that night. But at around 10 a.m., when he saw that all other medications had failed, he agreed and administered 25 mg of propofol, mixed with a local anesthetic through an IV, which took effect immediately. Within just a few minutes, Michael fell asleep, but Murray did not put a single monitor on his body. Later, Murray told investigators that he himself was an expert and could provide immediate medical help, but his phone records tell a different story. From 10 a.m. until noon, he was not present by Michael's bedside but was busy with phone calls. He had a long conversation with a woman in Houston named Sade Anding, and about 6 minutes later, he heard coughing and muffled sounds over the phone. Then suddenly, silence prevailed. This was the exact moment when Michael stopped breathing. But Murray neither hung up the phone nor called 911. Instead, he continued the conversation. The 82 minutes that passed between Michael's breathing stopping and someone calling 911 later became the most controversial part of the trial. At 11 a.m., Murray noticed that Michael was not breathing. His pulse was barely palpable, and he started applying pressure with one hand on the chest of Michael, who was lying on a soft mattress, even though both hands and a hard surface are required for effective CPR. But the situation became even more serious when, instead of making an immediate emergency call, he started calling his girlfriend, an insurance agent, and other individuals who had nothing to do with saving Michael's life. This process continued for about 47 minutes. Then at 12:05 p.m., which was nearly an hour after finding Michael unresponsive, Murray finally called the people downstairs for help, but not the paramedics. He called out to Michael's assistant, Michael Amir Williams, and even at that time, he did not tell the truth, but only said, "Come here immediately. Mr. Jackson has had a bad reaction to some medicine. Come here immediately." And I asked, "What has happened?" So he said, "Send someone upstairs immediately." Then he hung up the phone and called the security guard. Alberto Alvarez rushed into the bedroom and stood frozen upon seeing the scene. Michael's skin had become gray and cold. Murray was performing CPR with one hand on a person who had probably passed away about an hour ago. But before calling the ambulance, Murray handed the medicine vials to Alberto and said, "Put these in a bag." Then he pointed toward the IV stand and said to take down the IV bag as well. Inside that IV bag, a small bottle was present which contained a milk-like white substance, meaning propofol. Murray told Alberto to stuff all of this into a blue Costco bag, meaning all those things that could become evidence of what had actually happened in that room. Only after partially cleaning the room did Murray say the words that he should have said about an hour earlier. "Alberto, hurry up, we have to take him to the hospital, an ambulance is needed." At 12:21 p.m., which was 82 minutes after finding Michael not breathing according to Murray, Alberto Alvarez finally picked up the phone and called 911. "Sir, a gentleman here needs help. He is not breathing. We are trying to revive him, but he is not breathing." The operator asked, "How old is he?" The answer came, 50 years old, sir. By that time, Michael Jackson had been clinically unresponsive for more than an hour. 5 minutes later, the paramedics from Los Angeles Fire Station 71 arrived. Lead paramedic Richard Seneff entered the bedroom and immediately understood that the situation was extremely serious. Michael's skin was cold, his eyes were open and dry, and his pupils were fully dilated. When the EKG was attached, a straight line appeared on the screen. Murray told StarThe that he was treating Michael for dehydration and also said that he had given him lorazepam for sleep, but he did not mention propofol even once. Paramedics tried to revive him inside the house for 42 minutes. They wanted to pronounce him dead right there, but Murray refused and insisted on transferring him to the hospital. While the stretcher was being prepared, StarThe saw Murray near the bed, where he was picking up some items from the carpet and putting them into a white trash bag. At 1:07 p.m., Michael was transferred into the ambulance and Murray also climbed aboard with him. On the way, he quietly called his girlfriend and told her not to worry. At 2:26 p.m. on June 25, 2009, at the age of 50, Michael Jackson was officially pronounced dead. But Conrad Murray's most disturbing act of that day came to light when Michael had already departed from the world. Right after the official announcement of death, Murray took Michael's assistant, Michael Amir Williams, to one side and told him to drop him back at the house. He said that a specific cream was present in Michael's room that he would not want the world to know about, and he had to bring that cream back. Williams was left astonished. Just a few minutes after Michael's death, the doctor's biggest concern was to retrieve some cream. Williams had felt that something or the other was wrong, so he lied to Murray and said that the police had taken the keys with them. Then he immediately called security and instructed them to lock down all the entry points of the estate. Thus, Murray could not enter that bedroom again before the investigators arrived. That evening, when the investigators finally entered the room, the things they found changed the entire case. An empty 20-ml bottle of propofol was lying on the carpet next to the bed. A few feet away was a used vial of flumazenil, which is a medication used to reverse the effects of a benzodiazepine overdose. But the most important discovery was the saline bag hanging on the IV stand, which had a deliberate slit cut on one side. Inside that bag, a 100-ml bottle of propofol was hidden, which had become nearly empty. This was not a standard medical procedure, but a makeshift IV drip system prepared by a cardiologist in a rented bedroom without any monitoring equipment. Murray's claim that he had given only a single 25-mg dose was proven false, because the amount found in the autopsy was much higher than that. According to investigators, the only reasonable explanation was that Murray set up a continuous IV drip of propofol, started it, and then left the patient unmonitored. In the autopsy report, the cause of death was declared as acute propofol intoxication, and the manner of death was written as homicide. Conrad Murray's trial began on September 27, 2011. The prosecution's expert, Dr. Stephen Schaefer, identified 17 egregious violations of medical care, 4 of which were declared unpardonable. The jury found Murray guilty of involuntary manslaughter. He was sentenced to the maximum punishment of 4 years in prison, but due to the overcrowding policy in California prisons, he was released after only 23 months. Today, after losing his medical licenses in California, Nevada, and Texas, Conrad Murray lives in Florida, where he has established a private medical practice and still insists on his innocence in the death of the King of Pop. The most tragic aspect of Michael Jackson's untimely death is that during the final and most crucial 10 hours and 30 minutes of his life, the only person present with him who could have saved him was handling matters in an extremely irresponsible manner instead of protecting his life. Michael Jackson, the King of Pop, will always be remembered.